$100,000 years ago, Denmark was covered by ice. When the ice melted away, it left a lot of water, with several thousand islands in it. On the islands, the soil was rich, and for centuries the Danes were a people of farmers and fishermen. There's no such thing as a Dane. At least he's constantly changing and being increasingly influenced by the world about him. He watches movies from the USA, eats food from Italy, and drives cars from Japan. But all the same, we Danes know him inside out. Most Danes think that Denmark is the hub of the universe. But really, it's a very small country on the outskirts of the world. The Danes like peace and harmony very much. A small people with a quiet temperament living in a little country. We are fond of regarding ourselves as a harmonious, peace-loving, old people. The time when Denmark was an aggressive power passed long ago. Today, almost all Danes have a common history, culture and language. We're one people. To many people, one of the durable symbols is the royal family. And this is, for instance, expressed on the Queen's birthday. The farmers had a great deal of influence on what Denmark looks like today. 100 years ago they built up the cooperative movement, in which they owned dairies and slaughterhouses jointly. The farmers got proceeds according to the quantity of milk or pigs which they delivered, but when it came to ownership, then everybody was equal, one man, one vote. The cooperation of the farmers created a high production and quality and consequently large incomes. Today, Danish agriculture enjoys high productivity, so high that the traditional type of farm has become an efficient industry. Since the turn of the century, industry has sprung up, and with it the labour movement. At the beginning, the movement could be combated, but progress couldn't. With 9 out of 10 workers organised in the same trade union movement, and with the largest Labour Party holding the power most of the time, the labour movement has had large influence in Denmark. not in order to abolish capitalism, but to ensure a fairer distribution of wealth. Today, most Danish workers earn high wages and have relatively good working conditions. Naturally, we still have disputes, but they are few and limited by rules and agreements. The workers have a right to express their opinion, but it's the employers who have the final say. Both the Danish worker and the Danish employer are busy. We are efficient and diligent. Denmark is one of the richest countries in the world. We'd like to believe that the reason for our abundance is solely hard work and ingenuity. This also sounds nicer than exploitation of the poor countries by the rich ones. The Danish wealth is a consequence of both factors. We know that the high productivity has its costs. Therefore, we are striving to limit the pollution and improve the environment. Recycling is one of the ways to reduce the consequences of the Danes' large consumption. The everyday life of the Danes is built up around a clock and a time manager. We are busy. That is, if you are not one of the many people without a job. More than 1/10 of the Danish workers are unemployed. A big problem when, like the Danes, you are measured and valued according to your occupation and performance at work. Denmark has 4 seasons with a very changeable weather. In summer the days are long, and in winter they're short. In the autumn and winter, the Danes hole up and keep very much to themselves, away from the cold weather, and thereby from the neighbours too. When spring comes and the ice thaws, the Danes spring up again, returning to their outdoor activities. The traditional family structure is breaking up. The number of divorces is high, and many people choose to live on their own. However, the family often consists of the parents and 2 children. Most people have plenty of room inside their homes, but this is also expensive. The rent accounts for a large part of the salary. The houses are constructed in a way so they can resist the changing climate, for in winter the temperature often falls below freezing point. Men have begun to help out with the housework, but more than anything else, the changes have created a dual work for the women, who are now both taking care of most of the housework and have come onto the labour market at the same time.
Ja.
Skål hjem. Jeg har bare ikke fået noget at drikke.
Får du også lige en kartoffel, ikke? Okay.
A large part of the Danes' lives takes place in care, from when the little children are sent to day nurseries till many of the old people live out their days at the old people's homes. The parents pay for day nurseries and kindergartens where the children stay during the day hours. When they turn 7, they start school. Here the education is free of charge and all children attend school for at least 9 years.
Henne? Ja, ham der, du har tegnet der, den grønne.
Det er en virus.
Ja. Hvad gør han?
Han prøver at bryde ind i vores krop.
Ja, og kroppen, det er, lad os sige, det er det her, ikke? Ja.
Så har vi sådan en makrofager, ikke? Han er sådan en, der skal udrydde virus.
100 years ago, the farmers created the high school movement, a sort of boarding school for adults where they could, in their leisure time, be educated. The high schools still exist, now with large segments of the population as their participants. At the high schools you can spend several months studying anything from political topics to practical subjects like pottery and theatre and music.
Nej, og det bliver i hvert fald grebet an på en anden måde. Det er jo ikke sådan sindssygt. Det er også noget med at give.
If you're in need, the state must step in to help. There's financial aid for the unemployed. Doctors' calls and hospitalizations are free of charge. Together with subsidies for cultural activities, all these expenses are paid through the taxes, which are among the highest in the world. It's a long time since it was customary for old people to live with their children. It's the responsibility of the state to ensure that there are old people's homes for those who can no longer manage on their own.
Og så med
In spite of the well-established social system, many Danes are miserable. This is partially due to loneliness. Denmark has a high number of suicides and a large consumption of alcohol and nerve tonics. The Danes have 5 weeks paid holiday a year. Some people go abroad, whereas many spend their holidays and weekends in Denmark in their holiday cottages. Many people spend part of their leisure time in clubs and societies. Early in life, the children participate in this life. We gain from this later on, for instance through football players who are good enough to become European champions. Very few Danes spend their leisure time on going to church. The state religion is Protestant, and 9 out of 10 Danes are members of the Danish National Evangelic Lutheran Church. It's at church festivals like Christmas and at baptisms, weddings and funerals that the Danes come to church. The Danes love to make themselves cosy, and coziness can be many things. It can be the way in which you furnish your home, the way in which you are alone, or the way in which you are together. To the majority of the Danes, our type of democracy is the only true way of arranging matters. It's our definition of freedom. The freedom gives everyone a right to be elected to Parliament for one of the many parties in the country. The government complies with the majority and the courts are independent. We have the right to write and say whatever we want. The Danes are very proud of our democracy. Some Danes confuse this idyll with our being better than others. Some do not want others to intrude on our world at all, but they will. The Danes are being influenced and changed all the time. The world can be difficult to understand if you only see it from your own hub of the universe.